Hi, welcome to Math After Hours with Miss Austin. I'm Miss Austin, a licensed math teacher, here to help you with your math questions. Today I'm going to show you how to multiply matrices together. Matrix multiplication is defined only when the number of columns for matrix A is equal to the number of rows for matrix B. And matrix multiplication is not commutative. That means if you do matrix A times B, that is not the same thing you will get if you do B times A. So I have given you a few matrices here, A, B, C, and D. And the first one we want to do is C times A. And when we write down the size, it's the number of rows by the number of columns. So matrix C is a 2 by 2 matrix. Matrix A is a 2 by 3 matrix. That's 2 rows, 3 columns. Now you want this number to be the same. If these two numbers are the same, then you can multiply the matrices together. So for this one, we are good to go. Now, when I first learned how to multiply matrices, it was a little bit confusing to keep track of. It wasn't actually until I was teaching that I came across a new method that is way easier to multiply matrices, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So the first matrix, I want you to write it a little bit lower, because what you're going to do is the second matrix, in this case A, I want you to write it up and to the right. And then what's going to happen is your answer is going to show up in this space right here. So the next thing you're going to do is draw a little grid. So going across, I want you to draw a line in between the rows. And similarly for the one above, you're going to draw lines down between the columns. What's nice here is if you do that, you can see what row will work with which column to give you this entry. And then this second row with this first column here will give you this entry, and so forth. So what you're going to do, if we start with this first box up here, we're going to use this column with this row. And what you're going to do is multiply the first number times the first number and add it to the second times the second. So we have 2 times -2, that's -4, and we want to add that to -2 times 3, which is -6. So -4 plus -6 gives us -10 for that first entry. If we go just over here, we'll find this one next. So now we are using the second column, but the same row, and we'll do the same thing. 2 times 1, and then -2 times -1, and add those together. So that's 2 plus 2, which is 4. Now we have the last column up here with the same first row. 2 times 0 is 0, and we will add that to -2 times 5, which is -10. Now when we move on to the second row for our answer, we will use the second row down here. So -3 and 3, and we're back to the first column up top. So -3 times -2 is 6, and we'll add that to 3 times 3, which is 9. So 6 plus 9 is 15. Now second column, that row, -3 times 1 is -3. And we'll add that to 3 times -1, which is -3. So -3 plus -3 is -6. Then our last entry will have 0 times -3, which is 0, plus 3 times 5, which is 15. Now you'll notice that our answer right here looks a little messy. So I always recommend you rewrite that. So we would have -10, 4, -10, 15, -6, 15 as our answer. If we go to A times C, remember matrix multiplication is not commutative. So that means you will not get the same answer as C times A, which is what we just did. This will be different. And if we look at the sizes, matrix A is 2 by 3, matrix C is 2 by 2. And remember, these two numbers must be the same in order for you to multiply the matrices together. So actually on this one, when we go the opposite direction, A times C, it is not possible. So these two cannot be multiplied together. We would just put not possible. I'm going to do one more example with you for matrix multiplication, and that is B times D. Let's check those sizes again. Matrix B is a 2 by 3 matrix, and D is a 3 by 2. So these two matrices can be multiplied together because these two numbers are the same, so we are good to go. So matrix B, I'll write that a little bit lower. That's 4, -2, 3, 0, 1, 2. And I'll write D up and above. That's 1, 3, -1, 0, 2, -4. Our answer will show up right down here. We'll draw a line through these rows here and a line through the column. So your answer is going to be a 2 by 2 matrix. So for this one, in the first entry, we're going to use this row with this column. But you'll notice there are 3 numbers. So that means we have to do 4 times 1, add that to -2 times -1, add that to 3 times 2. So that would be 4 plus 2 plus 6, which gives us 12. So you had 3 things to multiply on that one, whereas the last one we were just looking at 2 at a time. Now the next entry over, we'll be looking at the second column with that same row. So 4 times 3 is 12, and you can write the numbers off to the side to keep track if you would like. -2 times 0, is 0, and then 3 times -4 is -12. So we actually will add those and get 0 for that entry. Then down here we are moving on to this second row, multiplied by the first column. So 0 times 1 is 0, 1 times -1 is -1, 2 times 2 is 4. So that's 0 plus a -1 plus 4, which is 3. And then lastly, we would have 0 times 3, which is 0, 1 times 0, which is 0, and then 2 times -4, which is -8. So our answer is 12, 0, 3, -8. And that is how you multiply matrices together. I hope that made sense to you. That was the way that when I learned it, I was like, this is so much easier than the way my teacher taught me in high school, just because of the way you can set it up. Thank you for watching. If you have any videos you would like me to do, please comment them below, and please like and subscribe.